So I got the book in Ramadan.
That happened in
Good morning, you guys, and welcome to another video. Today, the video is going to be a bit different because I'm going to be reading and vlogging at the same time. I haven't done anything like this before. I've done a reading vlog before, but it was just bits and pieces. But this time, I'm going to take you along the whole thing until I finish the book. So I'm going to be reading Sunrise on the Reaping by Susan Collins. So I'm sure everyone knows The Hunger Games by now, and this book is the prequel to that. It is Hamish's Hunger Games. So I got the book in Ramadan, right after it got released, but I decided to read it after Ramadan just to do this video. So basically what I'm gonna do right now is have breakfast and then make coffee and journal, and then we're gonna start reading. And as you can see, I'm wearing purple, just matching the vibe of the book itself. Let's just get on with it.
Okay, guys, so I am on the floor right now, sitting on the floor. There's the book and there's my coffee. Sorry about the sound. Previously, I forgot to use my microphone, of course, duh. I am very excited to start reading, and I'm just going into this blind. I managed to avoid spoilers. Gosh, yeah, let's just do it. Guys, I am 50 pages in so far in this book, and oh my god, the amount of information you get in these first 50 pages is just it just sucked me back into the world of the Hunger Games, and seeing younger Hamish in District 12 and meeting his family. He has a younger brother called Sid, and he lives with his widowed mother, and just like getting to know his surroundings and meeting his significant other, who just happens to be like one of the Covey. We like see hints of like Lucy Gray in her. I don't know if you guys read like the other prequel, which is about President Snow and like his story, and it's about like the 10th Hunger Games and how crazy it is. And there's also like a movie out. I'm just giving this information to those who maybe are new to the series. Welcome. This new Covey girl who is called Leonore Dove. And also we meet like some like cool characters that you might like recognize as relatives of the original cast of the Hunger Games. And it was such a nice touch to actually see them in this book. And yeah, just like the whole reaping was crazy in this one. Like the way that Hamish got picked is just insane. Gives you like a glimpse into how imperfect the Hunger Games still were, like at the stage, because rebellions were kind of happening and some people were resisting at that point. Draco's just here. The resistance that happened in the reaping, and this being like the second quarter quell, the 50th Hunger Game, and just seeing how, as usual, the capital is very insensitive and the propaganda starts at the reaping. You see the propaganda being birthed just as like the camera goes on, and like when it goes off, you see the brutality and the evil of it all during the reaping itself, like even like before getting to the capital. So far, this is like my thoughts from like the first chapters. I think I'm on chapter 4 right now. Yeah, this is my update so far. So this is post lunch. I'm gonna go continue reading right now. As you can see, I have a sleeping pooch behind me, sleeping kitty cat, and this is my iced tea. So I am ready to continue. So it is the next day, and I did not wrap up the vlog yesterday, but this is just an update video, and I have reached 120th page of the book, and so much has happened already. Like, it is very packed. Even though the Hunger Games themselves haven't started already, I have met characters that I previously knew from previous books and movies. We have met Virus, we have met Mags already. Both are the District 12 mentors because there weren't any victors to be their mentors. Very interesting to see that dynamic, especially that we already met these characters, so it's so cool to see them in their younger years. We also meet BT, who is also a character that we've met in the Quarter Quell, but like for the second Hunger Game book. And we meet his son as well. Here's where you know for a fact that the brutality against these people and the punishments that they get for simply disobeying the capital or disobeying Snow or like doing something wrong comes with like a really brutal punishment. Like, imagine mentoring your own son in the Hunger Games. This is insane. It's psychotic, it's sick, and it really shows you how far Snow would go just to keep discipline and order in place for those Snow apologists. There you go. I just think that so far, like, the dynamic is very interesting. And Haymitch, young Haymitch, having displayed some sort of rebellious move in the opening ceremony just shows you how much District 12 has always produced rebellious victors. Sorry, not victors, not yet anyway. Rebellious tributes. It's a wonderful nod, and it's, again, great writing from Susan Collin, like, as always. It's like she's showing us how important District 12 is through these tributes. Yeah, that is all so far. I also forgot to mention that we've already lost a tribute, and we have already like injured tributees, and the games haven't started yet, which reminded me of the previous prequel book where disaster also occurred before the games, which is very interesting. Like, in these prequels, every time, like, before the games, something happens, like something goes wrong, disaster happens, hell breaks loose, and we lose tributes. It just shows you that the propaganda starts even before the games. The way they try to cover things like deaths or accidents, they just cut them out. They don't show the people everything. And also, a very interesting note is the propaganda that is being spread in the capital is different than it is in the districts. So in the districts, it's like, oh, we have to like keep peace, always peacekeepers, keep like everyone safe, blah blah blah. But in the capital, they say, oh, the Hunger Games keeps everyone safe. Like it's just very interesting angles to it, and it just shows you how far they'll go to lie to these people. And it's not only people of the districts that are being lied to, it's also the people in the capital. It's very interesting the way Susan Collins focused on this, because you can see how the capital doesn't really care about the tributes. Like, if like they got injured and someone from the capital also got injured, they would rush to the person from the capital and leave the tributes, like to die or fend for themselves, which is horrible. But again, it's a reminder that they are nothing, that they're just there to entertain, and if they die, it doesn't matter. If they get hurt, it doesn't matter. They're replaceable. They are nothing of value or significance, really. I'll just make coffee right now and continue reading. Also, if you're wondering, Draco is sleeping on my chair, so I won't be able to sit here and read. Just look at him. Look at that. Guys, it is the evening right now, and I am 205 pages in. This is my chamomile tea, by the way. If you hear a few meows here and there, then you'd know that Draco is around me, and he is right there on the floor. So apologies in advance. A lot happened yet again in these chapters, but we're still not in the games yet. Like, I feel like the games are taking so long to happen, and it's just the anticipation really that is killing me. Other than that, I am enjoying the chapters, and I'm enjoying the trauma after trauma after trauma. That is kind of sadistic to say, but I'm not really literally enjoying. But you know what I mean, sarcastically. We do meet Snow again, and he makes it very clear for Haymitch that he is watching him and that he did not forget what he did in the ceremony. And yet again, you can see how Snow is exerting his power, and just when you think that this dude has a bit of like empathy, he shocks you with a revelation that you did not expect. And gosh, like when that thing happened, I was like, well, this can't be real. And like the amount of pettiness he has, you know, when he spoke to Haymitch about his lover back home, and clearly he knows that she's a covey as well, and he is just very slick with it, very manipulative, and just outright petty. Like when I read that paragraph, I was like I had to write about it. I was like, this petty guy, like, come on, dude. Why are you like talking about like covey girls that way? Just because Lucy Gray broke your heart doesn't mean that the same thing is gonna happen with Haymitch. Not that I know of. Like, nothing of that sort happened yet. And then another personality that I did not talk about because I wasn't sure where his loyalties were. That person is Plutarch. We know him, of course, from, again, the Hunger Games series. And I was like, is he like gonna have his redemption arc here, or is it in the future? Like, he's still an evil guy in this book, but turns out I was wrong. His rebelliousness started very earlier on. It was really interesting to see, like the revelations, like here and there, the hints, and the fact that he mentioned freedom, and that Haymitch shouldn't like assume that just because they are like capital, that they're automatically, you know, happy about these Hunger Games and happy about this division. They are seeking freedom too, like some of them at least. Even Haymitch talking about the previous Hunger Games and how he kind of explained it a bit and how it used to be before the 10th game and how it significantly changed after the 10th game. Like the 10th game was very crucial. And it was very interesting how they just breezed through the 10th Hunger Game. How like they mentioned how it was the start of like the audience participating as well, like sending in drones of food and water, and how the creativity started. And then a brief mention of like the first quarter quell where the districts had to pick their own tributes. Although the games have evolved since then, there are like bits and pieces here and there. Sorry, I really want to drink my tea. I'm gonna cut myself off and say that chamomile tea is great before bed, you guys. Like if you're looking for something to calm you down and let you sleep, this is the drink. Trust me, it is Hind approved. So as I was saying, like the games have evolved from like the first or 10 games or so, but during Hamish's time, there was still some stuff that needed more tweaking and more improvement, like especially with the condition of the tributes. And you can tell that it was still developing as well. It's like completely different than when you meet Katniss and Peeta and like their games. It's still way better than like, let's say like the 10th game or like the previous earlier on games. It just shows you how creative they're getting with their brutality. It's like, you know, when there's a dictatorship and they try to like play it off as humane when it's really not, it's disguised. The thing is, that approach is way more brutal. How dictatorships can mold into this scary chameleon-like structure. There's nothing that redeems Snow. He is such an unreliable source, and here's where the cleverness of Susan lies, because in the previous prequel, The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, we get Snow's side of it, and he could be lying. He could be lying. He is the master of propaganda, as we can see. So scary to see so many people fall for it. And this is like a make-believe character. And a lot of people fell for his act and for his charm. And evil doesn't always present itself as evil. It sometimes disguises as this beautiful being. That beautiful being can be very deceiving. Unfortunately, this happens in reality as well. And we can see it like in our daily lives or even in like social structures. And another thing about these people that are from the capital or like the previous victors is the fact that the rebellious spirit in them started earlier on. Like it wasn't from Katniss's time. It was literally from Hamish's time as well. Something was brewing and these people were slowly rising, plotting and planning, and you can see it in Plutarch, you can see it in BT, you can see it in Wirus, you can see it in Mags, and it just ties in beautifully with the other prequel and the original trilogy. This book is slowly tying loose ends, and it is explaining a lot of things that were maybe left for the imagination. Also, guys, I'm sorry for forgetting to mention this, but we meet Effie as well. And I can't tell you how loud my squeak was. I did not expect to see her so earlier on. Like, I did not expect her in this book, period. I mean, I know it's a prequel about Haymitch, and we know the special relationship that they have when Katniss is there, but I did not know that they go way back like this. And I feel like there are going to be more surprises as I go along in the book. But for now, I'm just happy to see Effie again. See you guys tomorrow. Good night. Good morning, friends. So it is the third day of this reading vlog, and this is post breakfast. I made me a little snack and some tea, and I'll start reading. Also, I do not have any purple outfits left, you guys. I'm literally wearing my mukhawara, and thank God it's purple. So, just in case this saga continued for a fourth day, which is tomorrow, we're just gonna breeze by the fact that I'm not gonna be wearing purple anymore, which is so sad. But hopefully, I'll finish the book today and we wouldn't have to do that. So, I finished part 2 of the book and we're finally in the games. I have a lot of thoughts about this part simply because it started very slow and then it just started rolling and events were all over the place. But I want to start with the fact that there were alliances in the first place. I didn't mention this before, even though it was like talked about previously in chapters, simply because I wanted to wait until the Hunger Games actually happened so I would see how the roles will play out. Because although there were like careers and then there was like the newcomers, two alliances, there was also an alliance within an alliance, and that is in the newcomers alliance. And we have Ampert, Beatty's son, and then we have Haymitch as well, because there was like this whole other plan, secret plan that the newcomers didn't know about, which is the reason why Haymitch separated himself from them, even though he promised that he would protect them all. There were some last minute plan changes for a good reason, because we know Haymitch is the good guy here and this book is about him. So his decisions are, of course, valid and for the greater good, of course. Although he is still young and he is 16, so some decisions might not be as great and well thought of. And we can see that with the end of part 2. It is just very heartbreaking the way things played out. Hunger Games aren't even over yet, and we have fallen tributes, and tributes that I have grown fond of. Like the fact that we lost Lulu. And Lulu has like a very tragic background story because she is the replacement for Luella, as we know by now. And she's not from District 12. She has been brainwashed. She has been pumped with drugs. And the fact that we will never truly know who her relatives are or who she was, maybe later in the book, I don't know. But for now, it is just very heartbreaking. And it's such a sad way to go as well. Just her just being caught in the mix of all of this. Like she wasn't even a tribute to begin with. She was just brought in as a replacement because a tribute died. Gosh, and then we have Ampert and his ending, and the way that he went as well was very heartbreaking because his father wanted him to die so quick and in a clean way and in a way that he wouldn't feel it. But of course, the Capitol and Snow had other vicious plans for him. It's like they wanted to make sure that the dad saw what happened to his own son and how brutal it was. The way Haymitch just reacted to his death. God, you can truly see how sadistic the Capitol is. So no matter what the tributes did, or no matter how smart, or no matter how much they plan, it's like Snow is always one step ahead, and the game makers are making sure that everything stays put and everything goes on the way it was planned, and the show must go on, no matter how bloody and horrible it may be. Because the propaganda is alive and well, and it will always stay that way. It's really scary the way that Susan Collins draws the parallels from the real world into this world of the Hunger Games, because we see this every day in the news. We know what's going on outside in the world, and the fact that the parallels are very close to our reality here is just horrible. Like, if you haven't opened your eyes yet, maybe this book will make you wake up, and like all of her other books as well. It's just so amazing the way she writes and the way she made this plot come together. I can't wait to continue the book for part 3, which I know is probably the last part. Okay, guys, so I'll just go out and shop for a bit and then stop at a cafe and hopefully do some reading there as well. And of course, I'm taking you along with me. Hi guys, so this is post shopping and a very successful cafe date where I read and reached 300 and plus pages. Now there's a lot to unpack here. Like, this book is just crazy. I previously said that I'm not going to mention the alliances until the Hunger Games started, and they're already here. And I spoke about the alliance within the alliance. But right now, I'm going to take you back in the book to the reaping ceremony. So in regular Hunger Games, 2 tributes get selected from each district, as we all know. But in the quarter quell, it is double the amount of tributes. So instead of 2, there's 4. 2 girls and 2 boys. And I did not mention the other tributes from District 12 yet. I only talked about Hamish because it is his book after all. Right now, I'm going to mention the other 3 tributes. I already talked about Luella and her passing away and being replaced by another girl that was called Lulu, because the tributes couldn't just call her Luella. It's just too painful, and it's not her. Luella is long gone. But we also lost another tribute from District 12, and I didn't mention him yet, and he was called Wyatt. But there's also the other tribute who's a girl, and her name is Maisie. Now, Maisie is actually a twin. So when she got reaped, it was very heartbreaking because she had to separate from her twin. And she wasn't the nicest of girls. She was a mean girl. She was an it girl in her town, and she was stuck up and she was rich, and her father was actually next in line to become the district mayor. So it was a huge surprise that she was reaped, and it was a bigger surprise when her father couldn't buy her out of actually going to the arena and being a tribute. But Maisie has grown on me, especially in these chapters, in these recent chapters, because I just feel like she is misunderstood, kind of. I just feel like she has a very strong personality, and she is very opinionated, and she is cool. She is really cool. And I feel like she is a very important character. I know that I'm going to have to say goodbye to her sooner or later, and it's killing me because she is starting to grow on me, and I'm really loving her. And I'm loving the fact that she is way more courageous than our protagonist, which I will get to in a few. Just you wait. I have a lot of opinions. I have a lot of things to unpack about Hamish so far. I feel like she is important because there were a lot of hints surrounding her, and the fact that she said, just one moment, I'm gonna open the book, because she said a sentence that just rang the alarm in my mind, because I remember someone very familiar saying this, and she said it was her grandma who said that to her. Alrighty, here we go. So she said about her grandma, She used to say, if I was afraid, it's okay, Maisie. Nothing they can take from you was ever worth keeping. I recall a girl in a colorful dress saying that in the Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. So, is that you, Lucy Gray? You know, I just made the connection because she said that previously. So, it could be her. And then there was another hint with Hamish when he threw his stuff. He threw them at a bunch of Katniss plants, which is another nod to the Hunger Games books and Katniss Everdeen, of course. So I just love finding these bits and pieces in the book because, again, it just shows you how brilliant the author is and how good she is at weaving the story and tying things together. Like this book, Sunrise on the Reaping, is just, I feel like it's the cherry on top of a very successful franchise so far. Okay, so let's move on to Haymitch. Now, I want to talk about him as a personality in this. I want to talk about him as a protagonist that isn't perfect. He is only a 16-year-old boy who got raped illegally and then was shipped off to the capital and shoved into these Hunger Games. I feel like I went into this expecting him to be older Hamish, and it is just very naive of me. Like, I have to remind myself that this is a 16-year-old Hamish. He does not know how to navigate his way through all of this. He does not have the expertise yet. He is just a 16-year-old who is scared, and he is an imperfect protagonist here. Maisie is braver than him. When you look at the protagonist, you expect him to be the bravest and the best at everything, but not Hamish. He is still being molded into that future Hamish that we know. And he is still going through those traumas that shaped him. I have to keep reminding myself of that because there were like a couple of instances where he was a coward or where he froze or where he could have done something about it, but he didn't. Plutarch keeps taunting him about that. Like, he always keeps remembering what Plutarch told him. Like, why don't you do something about it? You know? And here's where you see the flaws in this character. He is human after all. He is not perfect. He's just scared. And I love that. I love that about his character in this book. I can feel the Hunger Games approaching its end because there are less than 5 tributes left, including our Hamish. This is gonna be a wild ride. I know it's gonna be like the last few pages. I know it's gonna go crazy. I know there are gonna be a lot of revelations. Like, these are my predictions. I don't know if I'm right or wrong. I have yet to find out. And I'm gonna film my reaction reading the last chapters because I feel like it matters to see like the raw reaction of what is gonna happen next. But right now I'll just go have dinner and chill for a bit, and then I'm gonna open the book and finish it.
Sunrise on the Reaping, and it marks the end of this reading vlog. Before I unpack my final thoughts about the ending and the whole book in general, I just want to thank you guys for watching this. If you reached the end of this video, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And you can always comment your opinions as well, and maybe even suggestions about other book challenges or anything bookish. Really, I'm always open for suggestions. And also tell me if you like this style of videos, because I would love to do more if you guys enjoy what you're seeing. So please let me know. The last 80 pages were very eventful and filled with traumatic events as usual, but like these just hit me like a train. I know it was inevitable. I knew it was gonna happen. Like at the back of my mind, I knew that more deaths are gonna happen and they're gonna be so close to Hamish because the way Snow would talk to him and would taunt him, there's always like a hidden message behind those little sentences that he blurts at Hamish whenever they meet. So you know that they're deadly. You know that there is malice behind them, and Snow delivers as usual. It's just very gut wrenching when it happens. You can see how Hamish completely changes from the beginning, where you see this innocent 16-year-old boy who just gets shoved into these games, to him going through the games, to him post the games. Like, it changed him completely, and you can see how trauma truly transforms a person from a child to something unrecognizable. Him knowing that he can't do anything about it. One of the key moments in this book, when he finally finished the Hunger Games and finished like the mocking rituals that happen afterwards, that the capital calls celebrations, when in reality they're still treating him like a spectacle. When he goes back to 12 finally, and the caskets of the three other tributes are just discarded on the platform and then train just leaves. This is like one of the key moments here, because it just truly shows you that the whole thing is just a spectacle. Like, when the capital is not watching, these kids are nothing, you know? Even like the victor is nothing. They just like left him there with these caskets, and just like they didn't even care. Then when he lost his parent and his brother, again, it was like as if they never mattered, as if they were like these disposable things. And when he finally met the love of his life, and again met with trauma and loss, and it's just one after the other. It's like Snow is showing him that no matter what you do, no matter where you go, I still own you. I will still torture you. Even though you're a victor, I will still keep you in line. I'll still keep you in check. Very psychological, like the way that Snow treats these victors. And I'm sure that most of you know like how he treated the other victors in the future and also in the past. It's always a game. And the thing that I thought was very beautiful and tragic at the same time is when Leonard Dove was gasping for her final breaths and she was talking to Hamish, and she said, "Never let the sun rise on the reaping again." It gave me chills, first of all. You know, as a reader, when a character blurts out the title of the book, it just gives you chills. It was a very tragic moment and very sad and very hurtful to Hamish, but it was also the spark that gave him the drive later on. I feel like later on he understood those words more. In the epilogue, when Katniss was spoken about, and it all just made sense at the very end. And I loved how everything just came together. If I could describe the ending with one word, it would be bittersweet. But overall, this book was obviously very well written, and the plot was really, really strong. At first, I wasn't sure. I was like, okay, this is good, but I preferred the ballad because I felt like it had more events. The problem is with the ballad, it comes from an unreliable source. It's mostly Snow, so I can't really trust him. I can't really trust him. So he could be lying. He could be manipulating the narrative. This book, it came from Hamish, and it came from sorrow, it came from hurt, it came from lessons, it came from trauma. He felt very real to me. He was broken. He was not perfect at all. He was not fit to be a protagonist. So many other characters that were braver, that were stronger, were smarter. At the end of the day, he prevailed. I think this type of protagonist is important. It just shows you that anyone can be the hero of their own story. Now, I know you've seen me point at like several pages while I was reading the last chapters. It is because a lot about the Covey was revealed. And I was really, really excited to see a bit more information about Lucy Gray and the other Coveys in general, because this was such an important information that was revealed. And the fact that the grave of Lucy Gray is there has probably opened a room for a lot of discussions. Like, was it really her, or was it just symbolic? What could this mean? You know, did like snow kill her? Did she just die of old age? A lot of questions are brewing, I'm sure. But to me personally, I think that it was actually her. I don't know. I just feel like it was her. I feel like Lucy Gray lived on, but then she passed away. Like she was hiding somewhere. And I even have a theory that she's probably Maisley's grandma, or that maybe her grandma knew her. I just feel like there's a connection there. What are your theories about that? If you have read the book, please let me know, because this is what I feel happened. Not necessarily true. This is what I think. Alright friends, so this is the end of this reading vlog. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you stick around for another video. And until then, I'll see you.